So I've been testing out the Mola E3 for quite some time now, and there are some pretty interesting results which I want you guys to see. I'm specifically talking about the number plate readability of this dash cam. Considering the fact that this comes under the price bracket of 10,000 rupees, I mean if you have watched my previous unboxing and the review video of the Mola E3, you would know that this is a complete value for money dash cam in terms of all the features that this offers. But in that video I had not showed you the number plate readability, how good is it or how bad is it, and what exactly you can expect if you're planning on buying this dash cam. So in this video I'll be taking a deep look into the video quality of this camera, along with showing you the number plate readability in both day and night conditions from both front and the rear cameras. You're watching Travel Tech, let's take a look. Okay, so first of all, let's begin with the number plate readability of the front dash camera. So taking a look at a sample right in front of your screen now. So this is during bright sunlit daytime, and as you can see, the car right in front of me, the Suzuki Glanza, is about a distance of 5 to 10 feet away from my car. And if I just take a look at its number plate, it gives a very impressive number plate read at such a close range distance. Now do note that this is during bright sunlit daytime, and this camera is supposed to, or at least expected to, perform well at this level, and it's performing beyond its expectations. So this is a very good and an excellent read of the number plate at such a close range. If we move on and take a look at another sample, so this is the same car but at a much higher distance. I think it's about a distance of 30 feet or more, and this should actually show you the kind of video quality the Mola E3 has. And now if I zoom in on the number plate and show you the sample directly, in spite of having a magnification factor working against it, the camera is able to sort of read the number plate. I mean, it's definitely a bit blurred out, but even at this magnification range, you don't see any sort of a noise. The letters are more or less presenting themselves in individual manner, and they're not mashed up all together, considering the fact that this is a readability at a 30 feet plus range. Now I am really impressed with this particular number plate read sample, and I'm quite happy that this camera is offering such good reads at such high distances at a budget price of less than 10,000 rupees. But what works in favor of the camera in bright sunlit conditions, you might see a bit of a difference during night. So you can see the sample currently on your screen right now. There is a Nissan Magnite right in front of the car, and it's at distance of about 5 to 10 feet, just like the previous sample which I just showed you. But herein lies the difference. The headlights of my car are completely hitting the number plate and the car itself, because it's right in front of me, and I think I don't even have to zoom in to show you the kind of number plate readability this has in such conditions. It's a complete whitewash look. So this is because it doesn't have the latest StarVis 2 sensor, and this is common among all the cameras which do not come equipped with the latest StarVis 2 sensor by Sony. But here's the twist. As you can see on the sample right now, the Nissan Magnite has moved slightly towards the left of my car, and at this particular instance, the headlights of my car are not hitting the number plate directly, and they are sort of in a more oblique angle. And if I zoom in this particular instance, this camera gives you a very good, a very decent read of the number plate. You can see some mild blurring, mild noise, and that's completely okay because this is a night footage. But the overall read of the number plate is really good when they are not completely under the glare of any headlights. Coming to the rear camera sample, now I took this snapshot when I was actually parking the car and I was taking reverse. So in this sample you can clearly see that first of all the reverse camera video quality is much better. I mean, it doesn't have that characteristic high exposure kind of a video going on which comes in most of the rear cameras, but the overall rear footage is pretty decent. And if we take a look at the number plate readability at such a close range, the 1080p camera doing its magic very well. Now I stated this previously in many of my previous videos that 1080p cameras perform exceptionally well at a minimum distance of about 5 to 10 feet, more specifically 5 feet or less. And similarly in this example, you can clearly see the embossed letters on the number plate, including the I and D lettering. So at a close range in bright sunlit conditions, the rear camera performs exceptionally well, and that's a really good thing. Moving on to the next sample, I just moved my car a bit further away from this car. Now it's about a distance of 20 to 25 feet away, And if I zoom in at this particular range, the image now starts to get blurred, but still you can make out the number plate, not with much difficulty. It's sort of easy to make it out. So at a distance of 20 to 25 feet, the 1080p camera is still working as expected, and this sort of a blurring is obviously expected because of the magnification factor, and the performance of the camera is pretty much optimal. Moving on to the night footage from the rear camera, I have paused this video at a certain point when the Swift car right behind my car was at a very close range of about 5 feet or less. Now you can note that the glare from the Swift vehicle is hitting right in the middle of the dash camera, and in spite of that, the camera is able to catch a good read of the number plate. If I zoom in to show you some details of this number plate, you can even make out the IND lettering, you can sort of make out the embossment, and all the letters and numbers are clearly visible in spite of a close range glare from the headlight right next to it. If I move on to the next sample, wherein the same car has now moved a bit farther away, and now the complete glare from both the headlights of the car are hitting the rear camera directly. And if we zoom in on the number plate in this instance, now this is the testing limit of the camera. The number plate is sort of hazed out due to the increased exposure, due to the increased glare, but this is completely expected and nothing out of normal. Let's move on and take a look at the entire video sample. Now as you are seeing on the screen right now, this is a front camera sample, and the front camera provides a 1440p resolution at 25 frames per second. It has about 12,000 kbps bitrate and a file size of about 90 MB per minute. The image clarity, the video clarity looks pretty good. The saturation and contrast levels and brightness levels do seem well balanced, and you get a very decent, a very good looking video quality. This kind of a video quality is pretty much more than enough for any sort of evidence which you might require whenever you are using this dash cam. Coming on to the night footage, even this too looks well balanced. Although you might note that since this is a mirror dash cam, it covers the entire windshield area from the rear, so any dirt or dust or like wiper marks on the windshield will be caught by the camera, and the overall video quality might come down because of that specific reason. Other than that, the straight up video quality is really excellent, and I'm very impressed with the night footage quality from the Mola E3. Moving on to the rear camera sample, now as you can see, this is during bright sunlit daytime, and this camera provides a 1080p resolution at 25 frames per second and 6000 kbps of bitrate and a 45 MB per minute of file size. Now I can note that the rear camera perspective is down below, since the camera is more or less installed at the rear bumper and not where the general rear cameras are installed at the windshield. So you get this low angle sort of a thing, and this too gives a very good footage. Compared to the front camera, this may not be as good as the front one, but the overall footage is pretty workable and more than enough for any sort of a needs you might be having from this rear camera. So coming on to the night footage from the rear camera, you might see some white haziness on the overall footage. So this is the camera trying to balance out the exposure due to the high glare of the headlights it is getting hit from the rear vehicles. The overall video footage saturation levels look good, the contrast levels are a bit low, and of course the exposure levels are slightly higher. The overall video footage quality at night is comparable to other rear cameras which we have reviewed till now, but this applies only during nighttime footages, because since we just saw a few moments ago, the daytime video quality of the rear camera is really good and is something worth investing in. So as I said previously, at a price of $9,999, this is a good value for money package, specifically to those people who are looking to have a reverse camera in the car, who probably don't have a reverse camera previously fitted into it. So you get best of both worlds. You get a reverse camera, a display, and a dash camera built into it. Even if you already have a reverse camera, you can still get this dash cam just for the sake of the beautiful display that this camera has. And as I just showed you now, the number plate readability and even the video quality of the rear camera is really good for the price this is coming for. I'm greatly impressed with this camera, and it's doing much more than what's expected from it. So if you are interested in purchasing the Mola E3, you can head down into the description. You'll find the link right there. Also, if you have any doubts or queries, you can always write that down in the comments, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. So I hope this video has helped you out in making that right decision. And in case if it did, go ahead, hit that subscribe button right now and smash that like button as well. Also, don't forget to hit the bell icon so that you get notified each time I upload a new video. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.